Elon Musk continues to do the impossible. Everything this man sets out to do and everything he says he is going to do, he goes out and accomplishes. How can you gain Elon Musk level of confidence in your ability to sell? Find out in today's video. Welcome everyone. If you're brand new to the channel, my name is Starr, and on this channel we cover everything from sales, closing, building and scaling sales teams, primarily in outbound. And what I want to cover today is how you can learn from Elon Musk and actually increase your confidence so that you can set out to accomplish impossible tasks yourself. Whether that is selling more in your role, maybe you're actually in a sales position, you're just trying to close more revenue or land a really big deal, or maybe you have your own company and you're trying to strive for a new level of revenue and outbeat your competitors. Whatever it is impossible to accomplish higher level tasks and sales and closing without utmost confidence, certainty, conviction, right? And confidence is luckily a skill that can be increased over time through winning. So what can we learn from Elon Musk? The first thing is what he did recently with Twitter was absolutely astonishing. I'm not gonna lie. I was significantly impressed. The fact that this man was able to take $3 billion to acquire a 9.2% stake in Twitter, right? Just to prove a point that he has power. Said that he wanted to be on the board of directors and then was like, you know what, screw it. I don't even care about to be on the board of directors anymore. I'm just going to buy the company. So establishes his dominance, puts $3 billion at risk, and then says, I'm going to buy the company, right? Now, even though the media criticized him and said there's no chance in hell it was going to happen, everybody had his back in terms of attention, and he still was able to buy Twitter for $44 billion, right? Now, if you're looking at this, what can we learn from this? This is an exercise. I'm going to give you guys the first step of how to increase your confidence, which I love that Elon Musk did this because this is something I do with my team all the time, and it's a question I ask. And this is step number one, okay? The first step to increase your confidence, and I want you guys to ask yourself this question, okay? This is going to actually test your confidence level, right? Who would you bet on to win in whatever it is that you are doing, okay? I ask my sales team this all the time. Right? Whoever's going to perform, if you're in a position right now and you're setting appointments in sales, or you're in closing and you're on a sales team, right? Or if you own your own business and you're trying to strive to a new level and you know who your competitors are in terms of selling the same product or service as you, right? If you were to take you yourself, whoever else is on your sales team or whoever your competitors are, and if you were to bet right now on a certain individual to win in the most booked appointments or most closed revenue or most sales for a product or service against your competitors, right? Take all the names of who that is, see who it is right now on your team. Who would you bet on to win, right? Because what Elon Musk did is he bet on himself, right? He took $3 billion, bet on himself, bought 9.2%, knowing that he was going to strive to end up acquiring the company later anyways, without a doubt in his mind, because he was insanely confident. What's interesting is every single time I ask this question, even to my own sales team, there's always a long pause, right? There's a long pause. I say, everyone's sitting on a Zoom room and I say, guys, who do you guys bet? If you thought knew who would close the most appointments right now this month, or who would close the most deals, who would you guys bet on to win? And there's always a long silence, right? That's when the brain starts processing information. Right? And what you naturally do is you start thinking, well, this person's good at this person always shows up, this person always books the most appointment, whatever that may be. Now, what's interesting is we have a girl who started working with us in February. She was brand new to sales, completely brand new. Never done sales before a day in her life, right? Never done phone sales, never did closing, nothing. And within the matter of less than 3 months, she's like the number one setter on our team. In fact, she recently just broke the record for the team for most booked appointments, cold calling and setting appointments in one day. And she had no idea that she broke it. She's just like, yeah, I booked 8 appointments today. And I'm like, you realize that the record is 7, right? She goes, oh my gosh, no, I had no idea. She's like, if I knew that, I would have just kept going and gone for 10, right? But so what's interesting is, had I've asked her this question 3 months ago, with her being completely brand new, she probably would not have bet on herself, right? But if you flash forward to today, because she knows that she consecutively beats everybody else on the team. She's just good at booking appointments. If I were to ask everybody on the team this question right now, who they bet on, more than likely everybody would say her, okay? Now, the reason why we do this exercise is because if you would not bet on yourself, like Elon Musk bet on himself, that in itself is a problem, right? Who would you bet on to win? You're going to look for means of justification of, well, this person would beat me because of XYZ, and it wouldn't be myself, okay? So how do we increase our confidence? Number one, after doing this exercise, if you would not bet on yourself, my question to you is why, okay? That's number one. Take the confidence test, seriously sit down and ask yourself this question. If you were to take all the money you have in your account right now and you can only bet on one person, who would you bet on to win? If you would not bet on yourself, that is number one is the problem. You should always bet on yourself, right? But I get it. We have to justify to ourselves reasoning why we should not bet on ourselves, right? It's natural and I get it, okay? If you are number one on your team and you're always killing it and stuff, then cool, congratulations, you're already at a level of confidence. So increase your goal, make it something extravagant, strive for something bigger, and then ask yourself the question and get yourself to the point where you'd be like, you know what, I wouldn't bet on myself because of XYZ, right? Now we're gonna go into step number 2. Once you know the reasoning, the excuses that you told yourself of why you would not bet on yourself to win in whatever it is the goal is that's going to be attained, we want to break everything down to what those reasons are into a macro and micro level. Let me say that again. We want to break it into a macro and micro level, right? Let's take the case of booking appointments. If I were to ask this to my question, and let's say everyone looked at the individual who broke the record. Her name is Alexandra. She's absolutely amazing. And everyone on the team says, you know what? If I were to bet, I'm going to bet on Alex because she always books the most appointments. She's always killing it when it comes to following up, right? And she just puts in way more reps, right? Whatever those 3 things are, right? She's always on the leaderboard, proving it time and time again. So that may decrease their confidence level to say, I would bet on Alex. But through doing this, what is interesting is we already know the tasks that must be done in order to achieve booking the most appointments, right? I already just said them. Following up the most, right? Always being on leaderboard, like having the most booked appointments. So we know that in order to win, if we were to bet on ourselves, and this was the task that we were betting on, who would book the most appointments or who would close the most revenue, whatever it may be, the question that you're asking yourself, and from step number 1, we can break it down to a macro, right? Just got to book more appointments, right? And how do we do that? By putting in more reps, putting in more dials than other people, right? These are the macros and the micro. If the macro is, in order to win, I must book significantly more appointments than everybody else on the team, right? Then how can I break that into the micros? Whatever the micro steps are, we are going to take into the 3rd and final step. This is how we can go and increase our confidence. Whatever the micros are of the macros, you are now going to immediately go and execute on the micro, right? So when it comes to increasing confidence, what's very important is you don't have to have this grandiose win of buying Twitter like Elon Musk did in order to go and boost your confidence, right? His confidence level and certainty is on a super high level because the guy has been winning so much his entire life, right? From selling PayPal to Tesla and then SpaceX and then now going and doing the impossible and acquiring Twitter. Like when he says he's going to do something, his confidence and certainty is just at a whole level because he has just been winning his entire life. And that is the key here. The key here to increase your confidence level to that extreme is you must win in any shape or form. And the great part about this is I've talked about this in previous videos, your brain cannot tell the difference between a huge win and a small win. So why we break down the macro into micros is because you want to go and execute as soon as humanly possible on the micros, right? Whether that's putting in more reps for putting in phone calls, getting more at-bats of closing deals, going in and increasing your level of skills and sales of training and doing call reviews and whatever it is that you could put down on a micro on your list, you want to make this into a list in step 3, and you want to go and execute as soon as possible. And once you execute and you do the task, and maybe you book one appointment, right? Or maybe you go and increase your level of skill and you do call reviews into like the top person on the team that maybe you bet on. And number 1, you're like, well, I would bet on this person because they always beat me. Cool. Why would they beat you? Why? What are they doing in terms of level of skill and repetition that you are not doing, which is why you did not bet on yourself. Go and execute on those little tasks. And then this is very, very important in step 3. Once you execute on the micro, you must go to your piece of paper, not a spreadsheet, okay? Not a Google spreadsheet, not a notepad on your computer. I did not say anything technology or computer related. You must go and take pen to paper and list out the micros. And then once you accomplish one of the tasks, whatever it is you said you're going to set out to do that day, I want you to cross it off your list. If it's making an extra 100 phone calls, picking up the phone and dialing, cool. If it's sending out an extra 50 emails, whatever it is that you say you're going to set out to do, you must list it out, and I want you to go and cross it off your list and then give yourself an amazing pat on the back. Because every single time you cross it off of your list, you actually just gave yourself a micro win. And like I just told you, your brain cannot tell the difference between macro level wins and micro level wins. It does not care. All your brain knows is that you, my friend, are a freaking winner. And the more you win over time, the more you will strive towards getting better and better and better. Your believability and your confidence in yourself to accomplish tasks will now increase exponentially, to where when you ever go back to number 1 again, all of a sudden you're gonna see a huge increase. And even if you're starting to close the gap to the other person that you quote unquote would have bet on, your confidence rising so much that next time you're gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna bet on myself because I know now what to do, that I know I can beat them because I have so many micro wins that I can just step up. And if I were to ever ask you that question, you'd be like, nope, I'm gonna bet on me. Right? This is a fun exercise I do with my team all the time. Sometimes I'll say things like, hey guys, who's going to get the first appointment on the board today? Right? Who's going to get the first close of the product or service on the board this month? Right? Who's going to be? And every single time there's always a pause, right? It's always that horrible pause of the brain just sitting in and everyone's just they're just processing, right? They're just looking, who's going to step up? And then it takes a while, but then finally someone has the courage to, you know what? It's going to be me. It's going to be me, right? But what's interesting is that pause is a delay because no one was stepping up. And they're like, you know what, screw it, I'll step up. It's going to be me, right? But it wasn't instant, right? It's never instant. How can you make it to where it's instant? You can do it by following these 3 steps, right? If you won't bet on yourself, why? What are the excuses of why? If you're watching this and you have your own business and you're like, okay, well, if I had to bet myself or my competitors of who's going to win this month in revenue, right? List out freaking you and 4 other competitors out of 5 people. Who'd you bet on? Who's beating you right now? Now, you may something micro. You may be like, well, they have more attention to me. They're spending a shit ton of money on ads, right? Having way more lead flow. Like whatever it is, like, oh, I can't compete with that. They're just beating me in all these categories. Of course they're going to win. They're going to beat me, right? Well, cool. You literally just listed out exactly what you need to focus on a macro level, right? How can we break that macro down into a micro? How can we take the macro of everything you just said as your excuse to why you know you wouldn't win, why you would bet on them and not you, and then take those key things, give yourself something that's reasonable that you can go and execute on, right? Not going and making $1 million, not going to try and buy freaking Twitter, right? That's going to set you up for failure and disappointment. You're not at that level yet, but you can get to that level by just having small wins, right? Doing something like posting consistently on social media, right? I do this right now with these videos here. I don't have anything crazy. Guys, to be honest with you, in these videos, I love each and every one of you who goes to my channel and the support. I don't sit here every single day and watch my subscriber count on YouTube. I just don't. Like, would it, one day when I wake up, would I have, would it be cool to have tons of subscribers and stuff on the channel, me giving you guys value? Yes, absolutely. But that's not what is in my mind. My mind and my goal right now with this is just consistency. I'm playing the long game. I know that with giving value and doing things like this channel and other social media and organic means that I'm still going to be doing this hopefully 5 years from now. And if I do it 5 years from now, I'm going to label myself as a winner just from being consistent, regardless of whether or not you guys are always commenting and liking or wanting more. For those that love it and appreciate the support, of course, it makes me feel good inside, right? But I don't put myself down and demean my confidence level because all of a sudden I'm not a 1 million subscriber person on YouTube. Right? One day, will I accomplish it? Sure, I could. Maybe it'll take 10 years. Maybe it'll take 20. I don't know. But if I'm consistent, I'll be able to get there. But every single time I post a video and I list everything out and give value to you, right? I mark off on my piece of paper and say, boom, you did it. You're winning, right? Just from getting the video out there, right? Increasing confidence in whatever it is that you are striving for to go, right? So I hope you guys found this valuable, but more importantly, I hope you're actually going to go and use this exercise. It's one thing to get value from videos and social media or going on Google searches and finding out information, and it's another thing to actually go and implement it. So please, don't just take what I'm telling you, go out there and see what happens when you cross something off on a piece of paper. It is like magic, right? My team loves it. It has drastically increased their confidence level, and I know it's going to drastically increase your confidence level. And it's as simple as pen and paper, scratching it off and reminding yourself each and every day that you are winning by doing a simple task that you told yourself you were going to set out to do, because you cannot fool yourself. You can lie to other people, but you can never lie to yourself. So if you say you're going to do something, just go and do it. Check it off, give yourself a pat on the back, and remind yourself, yes, I did this. I am a freaking winner. I'm a badass. And the more you are winning, the more your confidence will increase. And that, my friends, is how you gain Elon Musk level of certainty and confidence. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.